Just wanted to wish you a happy Easter from Positive Property for all you freedom fighters out there and fighting hard for freedom. Now, it got me thinking, and we're having a Viking Easter because I've been getting into that show on Netflix, Vikings. I don't know if you've seen it. But I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones and Vikings, and I guess part of me loves swords and fighting and danger and things like that. But what I like about Vikings, it's produced by the History Channel, so it's actually factual. So it really, a lot of this stuff happened. And I don't know if you see that scene, and this reminds me of Easter, where they go to that cathedral and they see that big cross with Jesus on it made out of wood. And first they see it, they're a bit confused, they look at it, they're not sure, and then they destroy it and chop it to bits. Now, the Vikings had their own gods. They had Thor and Odin and people like that, right? And I suppose they didn't know who this Jesus guy was, because really, seriously. But see, Jesus shows us that you can be strong in being selfless, right? And that's the difference. And I think that's why Christianity won in the end. Now, talking about Vikings and things like that, I think there's a part of us that enjoy a bit of violence and a bit of fun. That's why so many violent shows are on TV. And I don't think it's necessarily bad, but back in the old days, they literally did a lot of violence. Medieval England, they used to actually, part of entertainment was actually torturing cats. And I'm not talking about a play about torturing cats, they literally tortured cats. 7 to 7:30, puppet show, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, torturing kitty. Now, that sort of stuff's frowned upon now, and we've grown past that, luckily, fortunately. We're more evolved, and in most of the world, we don't like torturing animals anymore, which is good. And let's face it, people live a much less violent life than they ever have in history. We live in the best time in the world, when you think about it. You've got more chance of dying of old age than getting killed in your sleep, which is a good thing. That comes to how we've evolved with society and how property rights play such an important part. See, when you're worried about getting killed or you don't have property rights, the last thing you think about is financial freedom. But with the revolution of property rights, which started in England back in the Industrial Revolution, that's what created wealth for the average person. Because back in those days, you had to be born rich to be rich. And if you weren't born rich, you couldn't do it. Now, unfortunately for people like myself and Christina, who weren't born with a silver spoon, we would be game over then. But see, we have so many members that join our program that weren't born wealthy, they don't have rich families, but it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end up. And a lot of them have created success. And a lot of our members are not only successful, but they're extremely grateful, which is great because they follow the steps. So I really think we're very fortunate to live in the world that we live in, especially in Australia. So we should all be proud to be Australian, and we should really enjoy this Easter and think, wow, this is great. So I think give yourself the gift of becoming a better person. And I think that's the most important thing over this Easter, because I know everyone's having a break and that's a great thing. And I've got a few books that I recommend.
And little Jojo wants to read
okay.
it too.
Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And I love this book. This is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-U-C-K. Now, seriously, if you're in any pain, emotional or any pain like that, this is the book for you. And we've got one more book in the reading list.
And this is Freedom Through Property by George Markoski.
Exactly. Now, we're off on the yachts and the Whit Sundays. We're going to be tanning up, reading, exploring and enjoying. And I hope you have a wonderful Easter with you and your family.
Absolutely.
And Freedom Fighters, we'll be back and see you then.
See you when we get back. Bye-bye.